We continue now at the top of Daf Yud Zayin Amud Aleph and Meseches Bava Basra. This is Bava Basra Daf 17a. The Brisa here continues that there are three that got a taste in this world, me'ein ha'olam haba, similar to olam haba. Elohein, and they are as follows: Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yakov. Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, they all had a taste of olam haba in this world. Avram d'chsib bei Avram, because it's written by him at Bakol. It says Bakol. We understand from that this idea. Yitzchak d'chsib bei Mikol. Yitzchak, it uses the word Mikol, and Yaakov d'chsib bei Kol. Yaakov, it says the word Kol. And Rashi here says, Bakol Mikol Kol, Avram Ksiv V'Hashem Beirach Es Avram Bakol. It says Hashem blessed Avram with everything. Yitzchak Ksiv V'Ochel Mikol, it says he ate from everything. And Yaakov Ksiv V'Chi Yeshli Kol, it says he had everything. Kilomar, what it means to say is Lo Chasru Shum Tova, they weren't missing anything that was good. That's the idea that it was Me'ein Ha'olam Haba. And the Gemara continues along the same lines, Shlosha Lo Shalat Behen Yetzer Hara, there are three which the Yetzer Hara had no control over. Elohein, they are as follows: Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Again, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Dechsibahu, because it's written by them, the same words, Bakol, Mikol, Kol. V'yeshom, there are those that say, Af David, this is true even by David, Dechsib, because it's written, V'libi Cholol Bekirbi, which translates as my heart died within me. And Rashi explains, Cholol Bekirbi means Yitzri Hara, my Yetzer Hara, Meis Bekirbi, it died within me. That's a reference to the fact that David HaMelech did not contend with the Yetzer Hara. And the Gemara continues, V'idach, and the other opinion that says David HaMelech did contend with his Yetzer Hara. How does that opinion understand this pasuk? Tzarehu d'kamidkar. David HaMelech here is just mentioning his pain. It literally means, as Rashi says, Tzarei kamidkar alibo mamish hu misraim. He's talking really about his heart. V'yomer shemeis b'kirbo. He's saying that his heart has died within him. Meirov tzaros, because he had so much pain. And the Gemara continues, Tanu Rabbanon, the rabbis taught, Shisha lo shalat behen malach hamavis. There are six that the malach hamavis did not rule over them. Ve'elohein, they are as follows: Avram, Yitzchak, v'Yakov, Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. Avram, Yitzchak, v'Yakov, dechsibahu bakol mikol kol. Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, the same psukim as above, bakol mikol kol. Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. How do we know that Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam, they weren't affected by the malach hamavis? Dechsibahu, because it's written by them, al pi Hashem. It says al pi Hashem. It means they died b'neshika, by the kiss of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But the Gemara says, Miriam lo ksib al pi Hashem. But Miriam, it doesn't say al pi Hashem. And the Gemara says, Amar Belazar says, Miriam nami b'neshika mesa. Miriam also died through neshika. The Yasya sham Moshe. We learn out of Gzeira Shav. It says sham by Moshe, and it says sham by Miriam. Umibnei malo nemar ba al pi Hashem. Now, why doesn't it say al pi Hashem by Miriam? Sheganai hadavar lomer, because it's something that's disrespectful, since Miriam was a woman, to say that she died al pi Hashem, by the mouth of Hashem b'neshika. To say that explicitly, that's something the pasuk does not want to say, even though it did happen in that fashion. And Rashi explains, Shelo shalat behen malach hamavis. The malach hamavis did not rule over them. Elamesu b'neshika al pi shchina. They died through a kiss of the shchina. Bakol mikol kol. We learned that out by Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, because it says bakol mikol kol means lo chasru shum kavod. They weren't missing any honor. Umatzinu kavod zeh b'Moshe v'Aaron. We find the same kavod by Moshe and Aaron. Shenemar behen al pi Hashem. It says al pi Hashem. If they had died through the malach hamavis, that's a lacking of kavod, and so that shows that they died in this fashion. And the Gemara continues, Tanu Rabban, and the rabbis taught, Shiva lo shalat behen rima v'toleya. There are seven that the worms and the maggots, they don't rule over them after death. Ve'elohein, they are as follows: Avram, Yitzchak, v'Yakov, Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam, u'v'Yamin ben Yaakov. The seven of them are Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam, and the seventh is Binyamin. Avram, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, dechsibahu bakol mikol kol. Again, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, from the same psukim as above, bakol mikol kol. Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam, dechsibahu al pi Hashem. Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam, same idea. It says al pi Hashem. They died through the kiss of the Shechina, so to speak. And Binyamin ben Yaakov, by Binyamin, dechsiv, it's written, Binyamin Amar Yedid Hashem Yishkon Levet Acholav. It says he dwells, he lays securely. It means after death he is secure. He's not bothered by the worms and the maggots. V'yeshomim, and some say Af David. This is true even by David HaMelech. Dechsiv, because it's written in Sefer Tehillim, Af Besari Yishkon Levetach. My flesh, it should be able to lay there securely. V'idach, but the other opinion that says that it's not true by David HaMelech, how does he interpret this pasuk? Ahu rachmei hu d'kaboy. That was just mercy that David was asking for. David was asking that should happen to him, but that request was not necessarily fulfilled. And Rashi explains, Keda Amran Shemesu al Pi Shechina, like we said, they died through the Shechina of Ein Ru'uya Rimo Lishlot B'Mish Noshuk Mishchina. It's not fit that there should be a worm that is on the body of one who died through a kiss from the Shechina. Sharein Harima Ba Ela Mitipa Mora HaMitaftefes Misakino Shal Malach HaMoves. Says Rashi that the Rima really comes from the drip. It drips from the knife of the Malach HaMoves. The Amar Mar, because the Master said, Mimena Meis, Mimena Masriach, Mimena Panav Morikos, it all comes from the Malach HaMoves. Yishkon levetach olav, it says by Binyamin Yishkon levetach olav. Hachi dorish Yishkon levetach Binyamin al smichus Yedidus Hashchina. He's going to rest through the Yedidus, through the closeness to the Shechina, and again that protects Binyamin in that fashion. And the Gemara continues. Tanu Rabban, and the rabbis taught, Arba Mesu be'etio shel Nachash. There are 4 that died only because of the counsel of the snake. What it means to say is the Nachash Hakadmoni that caused that people should die. That whole episode in Parashas Bereshis, and these 4 individuals, they would not have died otherwise. Ve'eluhain, they are as follows: Binyamin ben Yaakov, Binyamin the son of Yaakov, Ve'amram avi Moshe, Amram the father of Moshe, Ve'yishai avi David, Yishai the father of David, Ve'kilov ben David, and Kilov the son of David. Ve'kulu Gemara. Now all of these are learned from tradition. Levar mi Yishai avi David, except for Yishai the father of David, to Mefarish Beikra, that it mentions this in the pasuk itself. Techsiv, as it's written, Ve'asamasa sam Avshalom tachas Yoav al Atzava. It says Amasa was appointed over the army. Ve'amasa ben Ish Ushmo Yisra HaYisraeli, and he was the son of a man whose name was Yisra Asher Ba El Avigail Bas Nachash Achos Tzruya Em Yoav, and he had relations with Avigail, the daughter of Nachash, Achos Tzruya, the sister of Tzruya Em Yoav. V'chi Bas Nachash. Now this Avigail, was she the daughter of Nachash? V'alo Bas Yishai, she actually was the daughter of Yishai. T'chsiv, as it's written in the pasuk V'achiyosem, it says that their sisters were Tzruya v'Avigail. It says their sisters were Tzruya and Avigail, meaning to say Avigail and Tzruya, they were sisters, they were the daughter of Yishai, they were the daughters of Yishai. Elabas Misha Meis Be'ityo Shal Nachash. Rather, why does it say she's Avigail Bas Nachash? It means she's the daughter of the one who died because of the counsel of the snake, and that's a reference to Yishai. And Rashi explains Be'ityo shel Nachash Ba'atzaso shel Nachash, again by the counsel of the snake. Kilomar, what it means is Lo hayu ru'uyin lamas. These 4 individuals, they weren't fit to die. Ela shenigzer gezeiras misal kol toldosav shel Adam Harishon, except that there's a decree of death on all of those who come from Adam Harishon, on all people. Ba'atzaso shel Nachash, that's because of the counsel of the snake. Be'ityo targuma shel atzaso k'dechsivis yatu kol v'chein hesev atavetam. Again, the word Be'ityo shel Nachash refers to the counsel of the snake. Yoseihem, now it says their sisters, Bivnei Yishai Ksiv. This is talking about the sons of Yishai, and it's mentioning their sisters. You see that she's the daughter of Yishai. Hadron Aloch Hashutfin, we will return to you, Parak Hashutfin. This is the end of the first parak of Meseches Bava Basra. If you're enjoying these videos and this channel, please like, share, and subscribe, and take a look at the description box below to see how you can support this channel. And we will now begin the second parak of Meseches Bava Basra. And the parak begins with the Mishnah, Lo yachbor adam bor samach leboro shel chaveiro. A person cannot dig a pit near the pit of his friend. Velo shiach, velo ma'ara, he can't dig a ditch or a cave. Velo amas hamayim, or a water channel. Velo nivreches kovsin, or a pond that's used by the launderers. Ele imkein hirchik mikosel chaveiro shlosha tvachim, unless he distances it from the wall of his friend 3 tvachim. Besod besid, and he plasters it with lime. And Rashi explains, Lo yachbor bor shiach u'ma'ara, again he can't dig the pit or the shiach, which is the ditch, the ma'ar, the cave. Mefurashim b'Bava Kama b'Perek Shor Shanagay Chasapar. These are explained in Bava Kama. Bor is ogel, a bor is a round kind of pit. Shiach is aruch v'katzer, it's long and narrow. And ma'ar is mekora b'kiro, it has a roof. Nivreches hakovsim, that's the pond for the launderers. Chofer chafira merubas ba'omek ama o yoser, it's like a square pit that he digs. It's about an amma or more in terms of its depth. And the rainwater gathers there. They use it to clean their clothes. They have 2 of them. One of them they use to soak the garments for a day or 2. But soas klavim, and they use the excrement from dogs. That's called mechamson. And the other one they rub in it, and that's called a nadyan. Unless you distance it, the reason is because if you dig near the pit, it's going to weaken the walls of the pit. It's going to soften them. And he has to plaster with lime, as kosle chafiras, and he has to plaster the walls with lime in order to protect from the water. And the Mishnah continues, Umarchike v'esagefes, you have to distance the residue from the olives, v'esazevel and the manure, v'esamelech and the salt, v'esasid and the lime, v'esasloim and the rocks, mikoslo shel chaver, you have to distance those from the wall of his friend, shlosha tvachim, 3 tvachim, osad besid, or he can plaster with lime to protect it. Marchikin esazroim v'esamachresh, he has to distance the seeds, meaning he can't plant too close, v'esamachresh is the plowing, v'esmeir aglaim and the urine, min hakosel, all of that has to be distanced from the wall, shlosha tvachim, 3 tvachim. And Rashi explains, Gefes is psola zeisim shenesatzru bebeis habad. Again, that's the residue of the olives that are gathered in the olive press. Hasloim is avonim shor yotze mehen. This is rocks, which the fire, the heat comes from them. Shakorn kulya shakolelu kashan lechoma. All of these are difficult for walls. They damage walls, shemotzi and hevel, because they have a certain amount of heat. Min hakosel, from the wall, kosel avonim shel tit, habone al gabe karka. We're talking about a wall of bricks. V'lav bebor koy hashta. We're not talking about a pit right now. Zroim kashan lekosel k'dim afarish begemara. When you plant seeds, that is damaging to a wall, as the Gemara will explain. Umachresh, plowing, merapes yisod v'nofel, that softens the foundation of the wall and it falls. And meraglaim urine mimasmesin asalavonim shein shel tit yavish, that also it causes the bricks to melt away. And the Mishnah continues, Umarchikin esarechayim, you also have to distance the mill from the wall, shlosha min hashechev, 3 tvachim away from the shechev, which is the lower stone of the millstone, shein arba min harechev, which is 4 tvachim away from the rechev, which is the upper stone. And Rashi explains, rechayim, the mill, kashan lakoso, that also damages the wall, shemenidin esakarka begilga chavatosan, it causes the ground to shake, it damages the wall. Min hashechev here, rechayim hatachtona, the shechev is the bottom stone of the millstone, and harechev here, eliyona, that's the upper stone, harocheves alzu, which rides upon the lower one. V'kotzra tefach min hatachton, it's a tefach shorter than the lower one. And finally, the Mishnah says, v'es hatanur, you have to distance the oven from the wall, shlosha min hakilya, 3 tvachim from the base of the oven, shein arba min hasafa, which is 4 tvachim from the rim of the oven. And Rashi explains, v'es hatanur shlosha min hakilya, the tanur has to be 3 away from the base. Tanur kli cheresu sarf bekivshan kashar kaderus, the oven was made of earth, it was burned in a furnace just like other pots. Upiv lamala, the opening was on the top. V'abola kova bards, when somebody would want to fix it into the earth, osa binyan tit v'avonim, he would use clay and stones, he would build a kind of a base, sheyulo lebasis, it would be like a base for the oven, umoshivan oso olav, and then you would put the tanur on top of that, shelo yitzdanenu shulyav mach maskarka, that way the bottom should not become cold because of the earth. V'oso binyan asa b'shipur racham ilmato v'katzum ilmala, now this base that they built, it was wider at the bottom and more narrow at the top, kemidas hatanur, similar to the oven itself. Tachtona kore kilya, the bottom was called kilya. V'elyona kore saf, and the top was called the saf, it was the rim. Kilomar svasa kilya means to say the svas, the rim of the kilya. Svas elyona, the upper rim. Ulefisha havlo shel tanur kashal kosel tzarech la'archiko, because the heat of the oven was damaging to the wall, you needed to distance it, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Yud Zayin Amud Beis.